So I don't know, Mike, you want me to just kick it off and yell at
Okay,
them?
there
Or
you go.
no?
No, I'm back. I just had Milo can't go pee by himself, so I had to
Oh, that's nice.
take him to the bathroom. So the reason I wanted to ask Miguel on here is, well, two big ones. Number one is Jamie, myself, and Kim wouldn't be anywhere in this if it hadn't been for Miguel, and that goes to all of you guys as well. A lot of you weren't around, I guess, 5 years ago when we started, and like literally, Jamie wouldn't have hopped on, and even well, he would have hopped on, but he wouldn't have been as successful at all if he hadn't have jumped in with Miguel. And the other reason I like Miguel, as far as jumping on this call, even though that's not what we're going to talk about, is I like that he's analytical with this business. Not so much, well, he's emotional, but not so much emotional, but he's very analytical in what he does. And he loves trying new things before other people have done them. And he loves throwing shit against the wall and seeing what sticks, right? And it's not, he doesn't stick with one thing. He pivots all the time. Like every freaking time he's pivoting and trying new stuff. And that's for me and as guys, I think, I know I use this a lot, but as guys, I think we have to do that a little bit more than ladies too, is try and find a different angle. And so I kind of wanted him to come on and talk to you guys right now, just because it is a little bit of a different time. And I know he's got some amazing insights. So Miguel, take it away. These are usually about half hour, but whether it's a little shorter,
the shortest
a little
one
longer,
I ever do is an hour. The shortest one I ever do is an hour and a half. So I'll be like, I could say I'll be 10 minutes, but that's probably not going to happen. I will try and do it in 20. And then that way, if you guys have questions and stuff, I can go any angle you want, like literally
Perfect.
Facebook ads, Pinterest, Excel, funnels, whatever you guys want to do. But I'll keep the first bit a little bit basic. But I mean, yeah. So if you guys don't mind in the chat, so that we're not all in a meeting at the same time, can you guys tell me your current rank and your lifetime rank, just so that I kind of understand? So just like current lifetime, just so that I kind of know like who, and then I'll kind of try and tweak what I'm saying to that. That'd probably be really helpful. But yeah, so I mean, I'm super fired up right now. And maybe I'll start off with this, is that I'll be honest. I never thought that I would be in a scenario where we are today. I never did. Like if you had told me 2 months ago, or even a year ago, if you had told me that, for some reason we would all be sitting here. Sorry, someone's like on mute. So you guys all have to hit mute, because I am like a squirrel and I will be like, what? I'm just being honest. And so I never thought we'd be here. I never thought that, even a couple months ago, let alone a year ago, that we would be in a scenario where it'd be April the 18th, 2020. And literally every gym on the planet would be shut down. The only way that people could work out would be really through a Beachbody coach. Like, that is complete insanity. I hope that you let that sink in, and I'm going to tell you why. If you ever, in your wildest dreams, I would have never thought, in my wildest dreams, I would have never thought that literally every gym, every possible way that people could work out, Good Life Fitness, Orange Theory, Mark Wahlberg's gyms, all of them would shut down at the same time. And the only major gym that would remain open, and in my opinion, and in your opinion, probably the best gym would be Beachbody On Demand, would remain open, is absolute insanity. It's absolutely crazy. And that's a really sad, bad thing. And let me tell you that, my brother owns a volleyball high performance academy that he just invested $500,000 into. And his grand opening was on a Monday, and on Sunday night, BC, he's in BC, literally shut down every business. And he had to pay his lease payment in a week for $29,000. So when I tell you that I never thought that, I'm not saying, yay, this is awesome. I'm not saying that, because it's really horrible for a lot of people, including my brother. But kind of like what Mike said, my brother's pivoting, right? So he looked at it as an opportunity right away. Like, he was sad for a day. He jumped on a call with me. He's like, okay, let's figure this out. And, now he's building virtual classes, and he's recording workouts, and he's got a funnel going, and he's selling at-home volleyball workout programs. It's crazy. So what I want to tell you about what's going on right now is it's an incredible opportunity to serve a lot of people, because there's all these people that are out there right now that, a lot of them, want to work out, even if they didn't want to work out before. Now a lot of them are scared and worried, and they want to get as healthy as possible. And obviously, we don't have a solution. Nobody does for what's going on out there. But I think a lot of people can agree that no matter what's going on outside, we can always control what's going on inside. And I've always felt that way, right? No matter what's happened, what situations in my life, a lot of bad ones, a lot of good ones, a lot of great ones, a lot of really horrible ones, that I can always control my actions, right? And that's what you guys can do. You can always control your actions. And I'll tell you that for me, if you follow my Instagram, for the first week or so of this whole thing, I was really careful about inviting. But also I've been very vocal about what's going on out there. I hate mentioning it by name, but I've always been very vocal about what's going on out there, warning people what to do, stay home safe, all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, over the last several weeks, I've noticed a pattern, and I want to share that with you. I've noticed a pattern that a lot of people went from, okay, you know what? This might last a week or two, and I'm going to binge drink for the next week, and I'm going to watch some Netflix and chill for the next week, to now a lot of people are coming out of the woodwork saying, okay, well, that was fun for a week or two, but I'm not 18 anymore. I'm 45, I'm 50, and that ain't working for me, right? And so there's a ton of people out there right now that are looking for help. And the only way that they're going to get it from you, because they're going to get it from somewhere, is if you're the most vocal person out there. I've listened to a lot of speakers. My wife and I don't know if you know this, but we spend about $100,000 a year just personally on personal development. So that's conferences. We're in a mastermind that we pay $30,000 a year for. So we get to have one-on-one time with like Tony Robbins literally standing right beside me, and Eric Worre, and all these great people. And I can tell you that what they're saying right now, Tom Bilyeu, all these guys, what they're saying right now is the time to really stand out, right? Because there's so much noise out there about all the bad. Like literally you can't put on a TV show or a channel and someone's telling you the world's going to end and we're all going to die. You have to like over market. They're all saying that. Great people, Tony Robbins, these amazing people out there that are not looking to be what's in it for them. They're really looking at how can they serve. The only way that you can quash that is to be over the top, of what you're doing. So I told my team earlier, a couple of weeks ago, I said, listen, we got to go all in right now. And so we ran a 2-week group, and I'm going to share my screen in a second, and I'll show you this Excel spreadsheet that we used that actually got a record number of people in Success Club over the last 2 weeks. We had people rank advance, we had people do a lot of stuff. And so I know a lot of you, just from looking, a lot of you are leaders, a lot of you are Emerald already and above. So maybe the spreadsheet that I'll share with you might help your teams as well. And basically all I did is I broke it down to 2.5 hours. I said, listen, if you can all put in 2.5 hours over the next little bit, you're all going to rank advance every 6 weeks. Like it's going to happen, no problem. And so what I noticed by going through this exercise over the last couple of weeks is that a lot of people, a couple things are happening right now. One, some people, and hopefully this isn't you, and I'm going to squash all these things right now. One, if you're someone that's thinking, well, I don't want to over invite, and I want to be careful and all this kind of stuff, you got to be honest with yourself and say that that's more your insecurity. It's not the reality of what's going on out there. Okay. I always look for evidence. As Mike said, is like, I'm very analytical, and the evidence going on right there from everybody that I hear from, I got a huge perspective. I got like 20,000 coaches. I hear from a lot of different people. I can tell you what's really going on out there is that people want to be sold to. I'm going to say it right now. People want to be sold to. People enjoy being sold to. Think about it for a second. When you're buying something on Amazon, right, ladies, and you're already starting to chirp up, right? And you're looking at that makeup, or you're looking at that new thing or that thing. You're looking on your phone, you're getting excited, right? Sometimes some people can't even go to bed before they buy. And that process of adding it to the cart, and that process of sometimes you add something and then it says, oh, would you like this as well? People enjoy that process, right? And so because people enjoy that process, you need to be the one to give it to them, right? Instead of having other people selling them garbage that doesn't work, or selling them things that aren't going to help their lives. This is really your opportunity. This is your opportunity to say, here, I got something awesome that I think you're going to really enjoy, and just go over the top in showing them what's possible and showing them what to do. A perfect example I have, there's a lady, oh, my little bracelet fell off, but there's a lady in Michigan, actually in Detroit, right? And she's one of our newer coaches. And she was doing really well in the beginning of the business. Then all this stuff happened. She checked out for a week and a bit. She thinks she actually had COVID-19, and she was super sick. Her husband couldn't taste anything. So she went through all this stuff, right? So out of it, after it all went away and all that stuff, and she couldn't get tested, what ended up happening was she was a little bit afraid. So I talked to her for a few days, and she was like, I'm not sure I want to invite yet and all this kind of stuff. So finally she got over it. And then what ended up happening at the end is she rank advanced to Emerald. She's at Success Club 8 already this month. and she's going to hit 10 easily. And she's already talking about helping her husband get to Success Club 10 as well, so that she can get all the leads next month for herself and then also for her husband. And if you haven't known by now that we're getting crazy amount of leads, right? I think I'm already at like 25 or 30 leads this month. I don't even know anymore. I had like 15 within the first 7 days. And so she's going to take advantage of the situation. And what she noticed after just 1 day of inviting, and she builds a little bit differently. She's I think she's in her mid 50s. And so she likes building through through texting, through her phone. So she'll text people about the stuff and she'll phone them and talk to them on the phone. And she's not really using social media, but she's Emerald now. She's hit Success Club 8, and she's just texting people, just saying like, hey, I was wondering if we could jump on a call, talking about my next workout group that you probably saw me post on Facebook. Because she still posts, she just doesn't get a lot of engagement because she's got a private account. She's got like 15 followers on Instagram. But she's still doing that, and it's working. It's gotten her, 4 challenge pack sales this month, and 2 of those are coaches. One's her husband, the other one's a friend that's going to do the business with her, which is really, really cool. The other cool thing is doing that. She's also signed up a few not teenagers, I guess. I would consider them teenagers, but they're like 20, 21. They're just in university because the parents sign up, and then now the parents go and like tell their kids, and then their kids are interested in working out from home. So they've gone ahead and got a challenge pack themselves. So my point in all of this, it doesn't really matter how you build, what you do. For me right now, I'm doing a lot of stuff with Pinterest ads. It's working really, really good. My website, you could do it through a cell phone. You could do it through Instagram. It doesn't really matter. But I think a lot of the processes are the same. And that's kind of what I want to show you in a couple minutes here. And so, but the first thing is understand that people want you to reach out to them right now. People want you to go over the top right now. People want you to share your workouts. That said, you got to share the in-betweens, and I'll share that with you guys in a second, but that's number one. Number two is you got to get your team fired up, right? Because many of you, it's one thing if you're fired up, but it's a whole other thing if you can get your team fired up. And the easiest way, I just did a call on this yesterday for someone, the easiest way to do that is really just to get them to do what you're doing, right? That's what I always tell my new coaches, and it seems to work the best. Whenever I give them a list of things to do, chances are they don't do it. But what I tend to do is just get your people to do what you're doing. Like literally, like pull them by the hairs. Like, hey, there's a call going on today. Hey, there's Super Saturday. Are you gonna be in? No, I'm busy. Really? Are you busy? Like, where are you going? You going on vacation? Like what's going on? Like you gotta be over the top. Like understand that the over the top, like guys, the clues are everywhere. The over-the-top people make $1 million a year. Team Beachbody doesn't guarantee they'll have success or income, blah, 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 all that kind of good stuff. But look at who's succeeding. The over-the-top people, they'll tell you they're over the top. Kim's over the top. Jamie's over the top. Mike's over the top. Lindsay Matway's over the top. Melanie Mitro's over the top. But you want to build this business, have their same goals, but you want to build not being over the top. Like it just doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. Nothing in life works that way because people won't listen to you and they won't get that feeling of that you know something they don't, right? So when you're over the top, people feel like you know something that they don't know, right? And so that's really that feeling you want to give them. So I always tell my coaches when they sign up, they'll always ask me, okay, I got a coach, what do I do? I'm like, well, did you already get them in the Ignite Tribe Academy? No. Okay, well, you should do that. Did you send them the welcome email that I sent you? No. Well, you should send them that. Well, what else should I do? I'll just get them to do what you did. What did you do when you signed up, right? And the new coaches, a brand new coach, I'll tell them, hey, listen, your first 7 days is your biggest story you're going to tell. For the rest of your life as a Beachbody coach, you're going to tell people what you did when you signed up, right? And how you acted. And so you have to act a certain way all the time. So to kind of break it down a little bit easier for you guys, I made a little spreadsheet and I'll just share it with you guys. And I wasn't planning on it, but I figured it would be helpful. So I made this spreadsheet for our team probably like a week and a half ago. And basically what I did is I sat down with Aaron, I guess April 6th is when I made it. I sat down with Aaron and I said, okay, listen, how did we really build this business? Like what did we really do over the last 8 years that worked? And so we built this, and a couple of reasons we built this is one is we wanted to make sure that people time box things, because I think a lot of times people, especially now, there's some people that they have more time than ever. So they're wasting more time than ever, right? So whereas before they were at work and they had to build in the little fractions of time, now all of a sudden some people have more time, so they're not doing as much, they're waiting till later, and they're not doing it as much even with more time. And this happens all the time. So not only does this spreadsheet tell you like what you should be doing, but also tells you how long you should be taking to do it. So I'll go through it really quick and then I'll open it up for questions. I'll try and finish this in about 5 minutes. So the first thing obviously is what I get to, and the other thing about this is if you want to do this on your own, Mike, if you want to do it, or if your teams want to do it, whatever, is what I found worked really well is I made them all do this kind of like, so everybody could see it, right? So everybody was holding everybody accountable. So no one wanted to be left out because they're like, oh shoot, everybody can see what I did or what I didn't do. So first of all, what we do is the first 2 minutes that when I wake up in the morning, like I already did this before I got on this call, was what's my big goal for the day, right? So my big goals for today, just so you know, number one goal was to give you guys massive value. That was my biggest thing, right? I feel like it's a huge honor whenever anybody invites me, especially Mike or Jamie or all those guys. I always try and give my best. I always think that way. So my number one goal for today was give you guys tons of value. If I can just help one person, then that's awesome, okay? My second goal for today was to drive a crazy amount of people to the Super Saturday event, right? That's virtual. It's going to go on in a couple hours. Those are my big two goals today. And I know that if I do those two things, my business will move forward, right? And so you got to have what your big goals are. And so every single day, spend 2 minutes figuring out your goal, right? Figuring out what that goal is, because that sends intent. The next thing I did today, I'll tell you what I've already done today. The next thing I did, I had a shower, and it was a cold shower because I've been doing that lately. By the way, those that are wondering, you start off getting colder and colder and colder, and eventually you kind of like the cold shower. It's super weird, but I highly recommend you do that. It really wakes you up. It wakes up your immune system. And, you know, again, we don't have a solution for anything out there, but I will tell you that there's a lot of research that having cold showers really helps boost your immune system, okay? So that said, while I'm having the shower, I visualize, right? So I literally have my goals. And while I'm having a shower, I literally today, I was like, hey, and going back to the whole shower thing of Mike, I guess now I'm involved in the shower scenario. I don't know how we planned that, Mike. So basically I'm having a shower and I'm like, okay, today's gonna be an awesome day. I can't wait. I'm gonna get downstairs. I'm gonna, you know, just crush that call for Mike, and their team is gonna be inspired and fire it up. And then right after that call, I'm gonna make some oatmeal for my kids. It's gonna be great. They're gonna love it. I'm gonna use that new honey that I made. They're gonna love it. It's gonna be so great. I'm gonna put that bracelet on. Abby's gonna see that bracelet. Her eyes are gonna light up that dad remembered to put on that bracelet that I thought maybe he didn't like, that I put it on anyway. And then we're gonna have a massive, amazing Super Saturday call. It's gonna be so great. I'm gonna message all my coaches. I'm gonna send some ManyChat messages. It's gonna be so great. I'll have people fired up at the end of that call. Man, it's gonna be so good. And then I'm gonna get my workout in, and I'm gonna love on my kids today. I'm really gonna spend a lot of time with them outside. It's gonna be a beautiful day. And then at the end of the day, I'm gonna spend some time with Aaron. That's it. So I visualized my day. And it blows my mind that I've been sharing this for almost 8 years. I'll tell you, these first two things have changed my whole life, right? Because it sets intent, right? Many of you, for example, let's say, I'll give you a real world example. Let's say that you were to get on a plane. I know we're all dreaming about one day we'll be back on planes. I swear this will all be over one day. We will get back on planes, okay? But one day, let's say you got on a plane, and when you sat down on the plane, the pilot came on, and let's say that you knew you were going to Florida, you knew you were going to Tampa, but you get on the plane, all of a sudden the pilot goes, all right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for flying Air Canada. I'd love to welcome you to today's flight. Today, I don't actually know who my co-pilot is, but it's going to be a pretty good flight. I can't remember where we're heading. We should get there at some point. Pretty sure we got enough fuel. I'll give you some updates as we go. Hopefully, we'll probably stay on course. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Take it easy, guys. Most people would freak out. Most of you, if you heard the pilot say, we have no idea where we're going, I don't know if we have enough jet fuel, and I have no idea who's co-piloting this plane, you would probably jump out the freaking window. And the reality is most people, not saying you guys, most people live their life this way. Most people live their life this way. They wake up in the morning and they say, okay, life happened to me. Let's see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen, but let's see what happens. I know I got a call. I'm going to get on that call, but who knows what's going to happen then, and who knows what's going to happen after, and I don't even know about Super Saturday, and, you know, whatever. Let's just see what happens, right? And so that's why most people don't succeed. So when you set a goal and then you visualize that goal, you tell your brain to focus in on it. It'd be like if I told all of you to close your eyes. Watch this. Close your eyes. Everybody close your eyes right now. I can see you because you got your webcam on. I'm not hacking you. I can see you. Well, some of you. Okay, close your eyes for 1 second. And now I want you to feel a little bit of an itch or a little bit of a tingle on your chin. Just feel a little bit of an itch, just a little bit of a tingle on your chin. It's kind of a little fuzzy. You kind of felt it before. And now it's kind of creeping up into your hairline. And now you kind of feel your tingles in your hair. It's kind of weird. Now you feel a little more tingly and your face is kind of getting a little itchy. You're not sure why. You kind of want to scratch a little bit, but you're not gonna. You know, open your eyes a little bit. So for about 50% of you, you started feeling a little bit of an itch and a tingle, and you're not sure why. The other half, you're just too strong-minded and go like, whatever he says, I'm not going to feel it. So what ends up happening is because our minds are so powerful, they're ignoring, like, I think it's like 15 million senses literally every minute. So every minute your mind ignores 15 million things, and it only focuses on a few things to keep you alive. And this is a lot of study about cognitive brain psychology and all that kind of stuff. Basically what happens is the part of your brain that's aware and keeping you alive, the part that you use when you're driving or learning to drive a car, that takes a lot of energy, right? It takes a lot of energy. So if you were always focused on what you were doing, you would literally pass out in about 4 hours of exhaustion. So your brain basically goes into autopilot. That's why when you're learning to drive, it's so hard because you're focusing on everything. You're not used to it. The part of your brain that kind of does on autopilot 90% of what you're doing in your life, that part doesn't kick in until you've kind of mastered driving, right? And once you've mastered driving, you all know that many times, at least once or twice a year, I end up getting someplace. I can't even remember telling you how I got there. I don't remember how I drove there. It was like I was driving on autopilot. And you really weren't. It was just that other part of your brain took over because it's way more relaxing and easier for you to drive that way. So when you tell your brain what to focus on, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. The chances of you succeeding if you visualize and set goals every single day to get started go up by a factor of 10, right? And it's literally the easiest thing. The other stuff to do can be a little bit more complex, but those two things are the easiest. And what I find in coaches, I can tell you over 8 years, is that most coaches mess up these first two steps because they think they're easy, right? In life, we tend to not do the things that we think are way too easy because we don't think they'll have any effect. Same reason why people sign up as coaches, they pay $150. Many of them don't do anything because they put in $150 effort, right? Very rare people like Jamie and Mike and Kim and these kinds of people will invest that kind of money and treat it like $1 million business because they have that background. They understand it. They're like many of you understand the possibility, so you invest that time. But many people don't do those two things. So I'd implore you to do these two things every single day, at least for 7 days. You'll see a big change. The next thing is 15 minutes. I'm going to go a little quicker here. 15 minutes, love on other people's stuff. I made it super simple. So how? Just love on other people's stuff, whether it's commenting, sending a nice message, whatever it is, just love on other people. Say, hey, having a great day. Hope you're having an awesome day, whatever. I do that every single day for 15 minutes. I send birthday wishes privately on Messenger. Today I already did 4. Sometimes it's a comment to somebody. I already did one, like I said, someone just, again, got a lot of people that I know now are getting COVID-19. So I just said, praying for you, you got this, your positive mindset is unmatched and will help you in ways that can't even be measured, right? So that's loving on people. That's not like at the end, I'm not saying, hey, let me know when you want to join my fitness group, right? Like it's just, you just love on people, right? For 15 minutes, you can do that. And then 15 minutes of value posts and stories. So basically what that is trying to add some value. And this is really a key one. I'll see a lot of coaches don't do this. They skip this step. This is really where, like, as example, Mike's awesome at this, right? With his cooking examples and his crock pot and all different things that he does and the amount of effort that he puts into some of those stories, like those are value posts. And what's cool about it isn't just what he's sharing and the quality of it. That's important. But what's really more important is that he's showing people that he is more than just fitness, right? Because people aren't buying people for fitness anymore, and they never really have. They're buying you for this part. This is where people, if you didn't know this is where people decide to join you, to buy a challenge pack from you, decide to follow you, is all in this. It's all in the value post. So if you look back at your last 24 hours, if all it is you just working out and sharing beach body and cheers and yeah, rank advanced, and people have no idea what a superstar 14 purple hair diamond is, right? You're not going to really have much success. But if you tell people 15 minutes a day, you do like a story here, a story there, a post here about the other things that you're in, like for example, how to teach your kids from school or at home from school, how your kids play video games, how they code, how you do your hair, like all those different things. That's why people buy from you, right? Lindsay Matway is great at that. Kim's great at that. Mike's great at that. James, like all the top coaches, again, like I'm telling you, are good at this stuff. Doesn't take lots of time, but it's the most important thing, right? It's the most important thing. So whatever your thing is, you have to show that every day, at least 15 minutes a day, or people won't know that it's your thing, right? Because if you don't do it every day, people just assume that it was just a one-time thing. Okay, the next thing is invite in your stories every single day, 15 minutes, every day. That's weird. Yeah, every day. Every top social media person I've talked to in the last year say that if you're not inviting every day on your stories, you're just wasting an opportunity, because nobody feels oversold when you invite on stories. If every one of your Instagram posts was an invite, you would be over inviting. If every one of your Facebook posts was an invite, you'd be over inviting. But You can invite every day in different ways, right? I do it all the time. Sometimes I'll be open and like really out there and be like, pick one option or the other, right? I sold 2 challenge packs this way the other day, and I sold 1 bod 3-month subscription this way. I just did a click here if you want all the workouts for 1 year for, what was it? I think I put 120, or click here if you want the workouts for 3 months for 49 bucks, right? Again, generally, I would never say to do a post like that, but on a story, it got me 2 challenge packs and someone signed up for a 3-month thing, right? So that does work. And then the next day I might do something else where I'm talking about the business. I'm doing this and this and that, the other thing. And then I have my favorites. I save a lot of favorites to my phone. So the stories that I like, I'll actually save them my favorites on my phone, and I'll just reuse them like once a month. So now I have like a little grouping of stories, because when you save as favorites, they save in that order, right? So then once I have a good storyline that I like, I'll save all of them as favorites, and then I'll just scroll back to that month or whatever. I have a note in my folder, in my notes folder. I'll say like, this story is on that day. So I'll just scroll to that point, and I'll just repost all those stories again. So I might have a really good day, for example, where maybe I'm really naturally working the business. I'm on a call with Mike. I'm doing this stuff. I got a Super Saturday event that I'm showing, and like all these people joining in, 10,000 people on a Zoom call. Oh my gosh. Like, by the way, if you're missing that opportunity, that's crazy to me, right? Like I've already shared stories that I have a team call this morning. I'm probably going to do a little selfie with you guys, and then I'm going to show that I'm on a call with 10,000 people, right? And so after that, I'm going to do a business invite, because it makes total sense, right? Because people are going to be wondering. So that's the thing. A lot of people miss those opportunities. Well, I don't want to oversell. Well, people need to make money. People want to get healthy. And if they see all that good stuff from you and then you don't close with the invite, they're going to go Google. Believe me, I have a website. I get 15,000 visitors a day from Canada Googling how to become a Beachbody coach, literally. So I'm not telling you that to impress you. I'm telling you that to impress upon you that if you think people aren't watching your stories, then Googling and getting my website and potentially signing up with me, like I don't want that, right? So like you need to invite, or they will sign up with someone else. That's why when people tell me, like I'll always get the complaints, right? Because we got a big team and I'm the grandpa of the family. I'll always get the grandpa complaints of like, so-and-so signed up with so-and-so and they're my neighbor. I'm like, okay, awesome. And they're like, what? That's not awesome. That's against the rules. And I'm like, well, were you inviting? Were you doing all the things? Well, no, but I'm their friend. I'm like, that's awesome. But you basically, it's not their fault. Like you're lucky they signed up. Like you should be happy they signed up because they found someone that they had something in common with and they signed up. And maybe if you had been doing the work, they might have signed up with you. Like, I mean, I don't know what you want. I'm a coach. You know, I'm not your best buddy. Like, do you want me to just tell you that it's a horrible thing? Or like, and usually like, I'm pretty nice. Like they'll figure it out and they get it. But that's the reality, is that like, if you're not doing the invites in your stories every single day, I'm going to try and go faster, Mike, I promise. But this part's really important. Like then other people are going to invite for you and they're going to sign up with the other person. It's just going to happen. Okay. So that's really important. Invite every day, whether it's to the business or the challenge group or something. If you're not doing it, I'll ask you like, why are you spending 3 hours doing stories, getting all the perfect stuff, if you're not willing to do that invite? And chances are it's just because you're either afraid or you're scared or you don't want to over invite. But I'll tell you, that's all your own insecurities. It's not the reality. Look for the advice of other people. Look for the reality. The reality is people want to be invited to. They want to be sold to. They want people to tell them what's going on. Okay, 15 minutes spent messaging people. That's it, just 15 minutes. And that's just like messaging. That's not selling. That's messaging. Sometimes people will tell me, well, how do I change the messages into a sale? Like I get stuck. I've got 100 messages going with 100 different people about like hair coloring and whatever and stuff, but no one's talking to me about fitness. Well, the answer then goes back to this part, right? Because the answer goes back to this part, right? So this is kind of a loop, right? So what I do is I'll just message people all the time and chat with them, knowing that that's going to force Facebook and Instagram to share them my stories. Then they're going to see my stories. And then ideally when they're ready through my stories, they're going to come to me and say, hey, I saw your thing. I'd love to get healthier. Can you tell me more about it? So that's how you get someone that's messaging you about crock potting or your hair or whatever it may be. Or sometimes I'll share something about computers, about a computer. You know, how I get them to ask me about fitness is because they're watching my stories and then they're clicking on a button through my stories or they're sending me a private message, whatever it may be. Okay, 15 minutes follow-up. You got to follow up. I won't spend much time on this. I'm sure people will talk to you about this. Fortunes in the follow-up. These days, people say, they used to say 7, then they went to 15. I say it's more like probably 25 to 30. And by follow-ups, that can be a story that's public that they see. I count that as a follow-up. By follow-up, it's you chatting with them about the weather. That's a follow-up. So it does take some time to get people to say, yes, I'm following up with people from 8 years ago still, right? I'm not telling them, hey, are you ready to buy today? Hey, are you ready to buy today? No, it's like, hey, Marcy, how's it going today? Oh, things are good, blah, 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 chatting with them, building the relationship. And then one day they're going to buy something from me. I look at it as like everybody that I'm talking to is eventually, I got 40,000 followers. At some point, I'm going to get 40,000 of them working out with me in a body group. Like, that's how I look at it, right? So 15 minutes, I'll send an email every single day, depending on the grouping. Sometimes I'll send a massive email. Sometimes I'll send a smaller email, but send at least one email every single day, whether it's to your team, whether it's to your challengers, whether it's to a free group. And the reason this works so well is it doesn't take a lot of time to shoot off an email. And then also if you got a blog, if it's a good email, you could also republish it to your blog as well. 15 more minutes, you want to do adding 10 new Instagram friends and leave thoughtful comments for them. 15 minutes, you want to send a personal invite to 10 people in the group. 15 minutes, you want to send a personal invite to 10 people in a paid challenge group. Let me just scroll over. We're almost done here. I'm going to open up to questions, Mike. And then 15 minutes, message your team and ask how they did with their business today. And that's really important, by the way. Even like a lot of you are Emerald or Diamond, and I know some of you are thinking, well, they're not really working the business, so this part isn't really working the business. I still say that you should message everybody. You should message everybody because a lot of times people aren't working the business just because they got left behind and they would love to do it again, but they're afraid to reach out to you. And so sometimes what I find is this person's afraid to reach out and then the coach thinks that they don't want to do it anymore. So just giving them that little in, like a Super Saturday is always perfect to be like, hey, we're doing a virtual Super Saturday this week. And I know that, 2 years ago, you're really interested in it. And I just thought I'd send you the link. If you have a time to jump on, here's the link. And that's it, right? That's all you got to do. So just make sure that you're talking with your team because really that's where a lot of your income is going to come from is being able to motivate people to get started and get going and build their own business. And then obviously, did you have 1 hour alone? I added this one in because sometimes people will just build things as they go throughout the day, but I do think it's very important to at least sit down for 1 hour every single day and just work the business. That doesn't mean sitting by your TV, having Netflix on the background, and then try to do it on your phone. That doesn't mean while your kids are running around and driving you insane. Like literally, you got to find an hour every single day to just work the business focused. And then I also asked them what workout they did you drink Shakeology, and did you do Energize, and then how many of these items did you complete? So we did that over the course of basically a 14-day period, and people kept doing it, and it was quite interesting to see the results as people did this, and it was pretty cool. So I hope that that was kind of valuable for you guys, hopefully. I think it's really important to time box things, to have a list of like what it is that you should do, and so if you can give that to your coaches, or if you can have that for yourself, and then just execute on it every single day, I think you're going to get massive results. Go ahead, Mike.
Thank you. Real quick, are there some questions anyone might have? I mean, I know I have. I'll private. I was already asking for help with Pinterest, but we'll save that for another day. Does anybody have? Isn't that funny? The two guys on here, that probably the only two working Pinterest.
Well, I will say about Pinterest, it's like it's a very like. How many of you have ever used Pinterest before? Raise your hands, right? Okay, how many of you have ever ran an ad on Pinterest? Raise your hands. So there you go, right? So what's funny is that especially it's funny because a lot of women use Pinterest a lot, right? And so you know how powerful it is, but yet people won't run ads on it. And it's crazy because you can get so much traction. Like I spent now $900 in the last 2 weeks, and I got 877,000 people to see it. So you could work all year, like hours, like literally you could work hours every day and you would not get almost 1 million people to look at your stuff. And I spent $900 and I got almost 1 million people to look at it. And so it's not, I'll just share this for 1 minute, Mike, so they can kind of see the potential of it, maybe look into it a bit more. So like, it's not like, this is just, I just logged in and I wasn't even planning on sharing this. So this ad got 759,000 views, 486 saves, 7,200 people clicked on this and went to my website, right? And so if you logged in to my back office, you would see that while this ad was running, I added, I think, 130 people to have a free bot account, right? So I paid $900 to get 130 people to add a free bot account, right? Again, now we're getting more businessy, but that's what's possible, right? If you treat this business like a business, it'll pay you like a business. So I tell people all the time, yes, we make $1 million a year as Beachbody coaches, but at the same time, yes, I put $100,000 a year into ads, and I put $100,000 a year into personal development. And then I put another, when we can, I put another 100 grand into events. That's typically my budget for the year. So 300 grand out of $1 million's gone. I still keep 700,000, and my business keeps growing every year, right? And I'm not telling you that you got to start there, but I started with 20 bucks a day in 2012 to get to where I'm at today. So there's a ton of opportunity, guys, and so much of this stuff. You just got to take the action and try it. And honestly, ads on Pinterest are like so easy to do. It's almost like Crayola markers versus like Excel spreadsheets for Facebook. So like you could literally almost figure it out on your own, and you could set a $50 budget, and like it would blow your mind the results that you would get. Again, as compared to, there's only 3 ways to grow any business in the world. Any business person will tell you: investing time, money, and skill, right? So those are the levers you have to pull. That's it. So once you got the skill level as high as you possibly can, you can put the time in, right? Some of you maybe don't have the money, that's fine. Then you got to put in a lot of time and maybe try and grow your skill if you don't have the money. But once you got the time and the skill, you should be having results. Time to start putting in that money. That third one is so key, and it'll just explode your business. Because like I said, for $900, I probably got more traction than many people will get all year posting on Instagram, doing stories, spending 5 hours a day.
And Miguel, how often have a website, where would you be directing them to? Your favorite?
So that one, I just made a website. There's a course on building websites in our Ignite Tribe Academy, but it's pretty, basically what this goes to is smartassfitness.com. So here, for example, click here for the full details and VIP early access. So they see the pin and they go to my blog post, which also went out in an email, right? So I sent an email writing the same stuff up. I pasted it in here. You can see right here, this is real world, like 453 people viewed this page in the last 24 hours, right? So 6 people are viewing this right now, right? So hopefully I'll get some people watching this. And so basically they go here. And so then it's just a web page that gives them information about 10 rounds, right? Someone just joined my workout challenge 2 hours ago. So literally I was sleeping and I'm getting people, to sign up for my group, right? So and someone 4 hours before that, right? So basically they read this. And so I guess the whole thing out of this, guys, is there's no, and this is the application form here. And then once they click submit to early access, the next page shows them the free sample workout, right? So then I really focus, I'm very analytical, kind of like what Mike said. So I really focus my best on maximizing my time, right? And so for me, like here, for example, I don't want to just send out a sample workout video. I take the workout video, I upload it to YouTube. I write a blog post as best I possibly can. This blog post took me 2 days to write. It took me 2 days. That's crazy, right? It took me about 4 or 5 hours to write this blog post. I also went and took the time to create a little video of a workout review, right?
Miguel here with your 10 rounds.
I did that, and then I did what equipment is needed, right? That 2.5 minutes.
So what equipment do you need?
Right, and so again, this might look awesome, but I'll tell you something is that all of you could do this in probably 8 hours. So I choose to leverage my time. Like Mike said, I'm obviously a dude. So I'm like, the chances of me competing with Deborah or Robin or Melissa on Instagram and me getting women wanting to work out with me over working out with you, probably 0, right? But this, I give them content value. And again, I leverage all of my content. I wrote the email, I sent the email, I copy the email, I modify the email, I write a blog post. I take the sample workout. When they submit the form, it sends them to the sample workout. So I really just take advantage of the maximum time. And again, like I said, $900, I got almost 1 million views on Pinterest.
If just real quick, for those of you who are new, don't freak out. That's next level, kind of, as he was talking about. The most important thing is, he said, the step 1 is polishing your skills and putting in the time first. Those are like next level types of things. I'm more than happy to help you guys. Miguel, I'm going to force him to teach me Pinterest ads, and then I'm more than happy to share it with you guys. But as far as the web, if you're at that level, and I know some of you have that type of brain for websites and how to do stuff like that, I'm more than happy to show you you guys are doing the content anyway. Like some of your posts are just freaking amazing. Just copy, paste it, and throw it on a blog. That's all.
I would tell you as well, and this is true. If I honestly, I'm very transparent, and hopefully you guys can see that by now. If I was a woman, and this isn't like being sexist or anything, I would focus way more of my time on social media. I just can't. Like, would you sign up with me over Lindsay and Matt Way? Like, you probably wouldn't. Like, that's fair. Like, maybe a few would, but I'm not going to make $1 million a year, like, working out on Instagram. It's just never going to happen. You know, neither will you, Mike. I'm sorry. Although you are pretty good looking in the shower.
Miguel. Okay, so building leaders. So, could you give us like 3 nuggets? I mean, I get what you're saying, like you're checking in with them. Maybe one thing that when you see a coach that you sign, you're like, okay, I see something in them. What that looks like for you. I mean, you've got a massive team now, but you know, for those of us kind of just starting to grow and build, I really want to make sure I'm leveraging my potential leaders the best way, and I'm still in the dark a bit.
I'll show you something. If just don't like, sometimes people share stuff on Instagram, but I'll share you what I do for getting started right, and you can take a picture of it, and then that'll probably be the fastest. I'll share it right now. If you guys want to take a picture, you can just don't put it on Instagram because I hate when that happens. But yeah, so this is, you can even go right here. I put it right at the top, Miguel.vip/start new coach. This is basically what I do. This is literally what I do with every coach. So like, I'll go through it real quick. I send a welcome email. I welcome to the Ignite team page. I make sure they get on their team calls up for us every Thursday. I make sure they create the account with the Tribe Academy same day. Stuff I just told you. I schedule a getting started right call with them via Zoom 2 days within. I make sure they have daily method of operations. Right now is this one, which again, like Mike said, I change this stuff every other month. I make sure they have Google Sheets. I make a private chat with them. This I just added in. I just started doing this last week and it started working great. Again, I'm always learning, right? I was in the champions page. I saw someone talking about pod groups, so I implemented it, right? So a lot of people like they'll oh, that sounds like a good idea, and then 4 months later they haven't implemented it. Me, I'm like, I listened to it. That girl's killing it. Okay, I'm doing it. When? Right now. You know, so like, so this works really well. It's already been working really well. So I would break up your people into these groups, and then I ask them what their why is, what their income goal is. I get their social media profiles because that way I can keep up with them, make sure, because sometimes I don't have them. Keep up with them and see what they're doing. I can kind of tell if they're checking in or checking out. I set a goal for them. I say, like, when are you going to post your coming out post, that we call it. Make sure you're in your challenge. Make sure they're in the challenge group. I also make sure that that I guess this is a tip for you, would be like, make sure they're the best coach. But I always do that as well. I always try and make sure, like, every day. I know that I'm not always the best coach now because we have amazing coaches like Mike and Jamie and Kim, but like, I literally try to be the best coach I possibly can, like, every day, right? Because I can't expect my team to do more than me. So like, literally, this is gonna sound kind of morbid and bad, but like, the day our cat died, which was brutal to us, like, I was like torn apart. I was like, okay, I always tell my team that no matter what happens, you got to keep going, right? So that day, I worked harder than I had in 6 months, right? And so, like, that's just how I'm built. I'm not telling you all to be that way. Hope you don't, if you don't know me, that doesn't mean I'm cold-hearted. It just means that, like, that's just, you have to be your best coach every day, no matter what is going on in your life, because otherwise, when things happen in other people's lives, then they're all going to stop because you stop, right? Again, number one goal is to ensure that they do as you do. Make sure they're attending every Super Saturday. I keep this up to date so I always know what's next. And then I have this coach welcome email. I'll just go through real quick, but basically just step 1, register for the academy. Step 2, join our group. Step 3, complete the Ignite Foundation training and schedule a one-on-one call. So this is a very similar email. I change it all the time, but like, I would have sent this to Jamie and then he would have went through it. And then that's kind of what I do. And like, to say one tip, maybe I'll say 2 tips. Number 1 is they have to know what to do. Don't assume that your new coach knows what to do, because many times they don't. Just because you know what to do doesn't mean that they know what to do. And number 2 is you got to stay on that new coach like your life depends on it for the first 7 days to 30 days. Because there's evidence, like Eric Worre says it all the time. Like, if you can get them to sell something in the first 7 days, you got a lifer. Because they're going to get that itch, that feeling. They're going to go through the motions of the share a cart and doing all the things. They've learned something. They know it's possible. Even if it means that they just signed up their spouse. Like, they're going to be a lifer And because another thing that's going to happen with Beachbody, when I talked to Eric one-on-one about this, he said Beachbody's perfect. And he is a bod customer, not mine, and a Shakeology customer. Eric Worre is one of the top network marketing trainers in the world. So basically he said, like, the beauty of ours is that if you can get them to sell something in 7 days, not only that, but they're probably going to be doing the workouts in Shakeology. And because bod is so good and Shakeology is so good, then they're going to be addicted to that anyway. So they're just going to stay on forever. So I really focus, like my number one goal, new coach comes on, get them to sell something in 7 days. I don't care what the hell it is. Sorry to swear. And then number two is make sure they love the workouts in Shakeology. And then the rest, they can learn.
Very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
And I just want to add something about the pods too, is that like, if you guys don't, like, you feel you don't have enough people for your pods, like, you know, team up with somebody else. Like I teamed up with Robin and Chantel, and we have, I think, like 6 or 7 newbie coaches in there, and just trying to like love on them, because we were hearing, oh, we're so overwhelmed from being like in the big team chat. They love this little pod because they're new and they don't feel dumb asking questions, and they bounce ideas off each other, and the excitement of signing up builds up, and there's like some great energy in those pods. So even if you don't have enough, just reach out to somebody else on the team and say, do you have anybody new? Can we put your peeps in there? So yeah, I've teamed up with Powerful, and we have our people in there. And also, if you guys want like a really easy website to send people to, Weebly is so user friendly if you don't want to pay for anything right now. It's like literally a drag and drop, make your own website, and it's doing its job for me right now. And I even have my coach training on there. So but don't feel like you have to have one, but that one's a really easy one to do on your own.
Miguel, can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure. How's it going?
That was amazing. What's your best recommendation for personal development right now? Like books that are, I mean, for somebody who can't invest 100 grand, what's a great book that you pick up?
And like Mike said, I never, just to be clear too, I never started there, right? Like I was like,
right, yeah.
Like I used to read these books and I was like, you know, one day, and that drove me, right? But I would say right now, honestly, like the one I'm reading right now, and this is my point, like the one I'm reading right now is this one, So Good They Can't Ignore You. But what I always tell my coaches, and maybe this will help you, is I always tell them to go on Amazon and type in the first word that they think about what they need to work on. Like literally go on Amazon, the book thing, and so whatever you think that you need to work on. So let's say, for example, confidence is the thing. You would type in confidence, and then you let the person pick the book that speaks to them, right? Because I've been doing this for 8 years now, and what I've noticed is whenever I recommend books, it may speak to me, right? But it may not speak to the other person. So this exercise does really work if you get people to literally load up their Amazon, because everybody's got an Amazon account on their phone, believe me, and most of them have Prime, and you just get them to just type in the word, and then they look for a book that speaks to them, and then that book is the one that they should buy either on Kindle or that kind of thing. The other one that I like is Mentor Box that I would recommend. If you want like literal recommendations, I subscribe to Mentor Box, which I think it's going to sound a lot, but it's not super expensive. You can get a digital version, I think, for $50, but I pay $99 a month and I get 3 new books a month. And I also get like a sheet of like the book review and like all the kind of good stuff. So it depends on what level you're at in personal development, right? So I'm trying to give you a few. So Amazon, if you want to pick a book, I would say you go through that and do it that way. You can get books for $7. If you want a subscription service, Mentor Box is super, super good. And you get a new book. This is how I get all my books now. Literally, they come in like this, and they get 3 books in a box, and it's really cool. And you get like the preview, so I can literally read like a 2-sheet preview and be like, okay, this book isn't really going to be my book. That's fine. I leave it. And the other ones, but Mentor Box is good because they also have a website you can log into. They have all their past issues and books. They even have like video recordings and interviews from the authors. So it's a really, really good service. I know it sounds like a lot of money, but it's actually really worth it. But yeah, I love so many books. Like right now, honestly, I'm reading a book called Traffic Secrets. You know, if you want to grab it, it's called Traffic Secrets from Russell Brunson. And then you just go to trafficsecrets.com. And then basically, I think it's if you're in the States, it's $9 for shipping. And if you want it in Canada, it's $19 for shipping. He's got like upsells and stuff. Don't buy them. I mean, you can if you want, but if you start buying them, you're going to end up spending like $1,200. But you can get that book. And it's really good. Traffic Secrets is all about how to drive traffic to social media, to Instagram, to Facebook, and that kind of stuff.
Amazing. Thank you. Those are great.
Yeah, no worries.
Ooh, I got another. Sorry, do we have
Go ahead.
free groups? I know you're a fan of like Facebook, free Facebook communities. Do you recommend right now in this time that we're at, continuing on with like a free group that's a 3-day group, or getting into those more like 14-day free groups? And then when do you cut it off? Like when do you know what I mean? Like giving away too much for free? Where do you draw the line?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I typically, like I'll run a free group once a month, and like Aaron really runs it, honestly. but because just again, for guys, just harder for guys to connect with women. So like for me, like in a 14-day group, it's gonna be really hard for me to connect. Business wise, I can connect great. That's why my website works so well, right? Because my website's more business focused. So I get a lot of people that are business builders. So that works out really well for me. But in terms of like, you know, like you go girl, like it's if I showed you, it's all Aaron posting like her working out with Abby and that kind of stuff. And so Aaron keeps it going. Like it's literally, I think it's how Kim does it. It's the one group and it just keeps changing like every other week, basically, is what we do. So it's the same group. We tried like opening new groups all the time, and that works for some people. So I'm not saying that's bad, but what works the best for us right now is that we have one group, and then we just say next week we're going to be doing, you know, the 5 free workouts, and then the week after that might be like a juicing thing, and the week after that might be like, you know, celery juice cheers every day. Like we've done that one. That one does really well for some reason. People love doing like the celery juice cheers. If you ever see me on Instagram doing a celery juice cheers, it's because we're probably doing the group for that week about celery juicing, right? So, so all that kind of stuff works well. So, but I say like no matter how you do groups, I reach out to people all the time. So if I have a group and someone comments, like I start chatting with them, right? And so typically I don't ever really sell through my free group much. I end up selling through messaging, but that's how I do it. Because for me, like if I can get someone on the phone, like that's what I try and do. And I don't teach this a lot because it doesn't work for everybody. But for me to get someone to close through a text is way more painful than through a phone call. Because if I can get someone kind of interested and then I can get you on the phone, I can get Deborah on the phone, Rochelle on the phone, anybody on the phone. In 20 minutes, I know for sure I'm going to get you at least with a bought subscription. If not, you're going to become a coach. So versus like having a chat over text for 2 weeks. So I would say that that's another tip, is that like if you're comfortable on the phone, you're going to get way more results for the same amount of people. So to give you a perspective, if you got 100 people in a free group and you're relying on a post to sell you into the next level, you're going to get like 2-3%. But if you rely on messaging one-on-one, you're probably going to get like 10%, right? If you take it to the phone level, 100 people, and you can schedule 50 phone calls, you're going to get 30%. So that's kind of my advice there.
Awesome.
Really? What if you hate the phone? All right, I'm going to do it. Hate the phone.
But again, like if you hate the phone, then it might not work for you, right? So like for me, I'll tell you my background. I was a geek, like introverted geek my whole life. I started the chess club at school. I got kicked out of grade 10 for computer programming. I hacked into the school system. Like basically didn't talk to anybody. I had one girlfriend my whole life until she destroyed me and broke my heart and cheated on me. But that's a whole other story. That's like, so for me, like, and then my first job, I worked in a call center for 4 years, right? So again, an introvert ends up working in a call center. And like, it was torture in the beginning, but I got really good at hearing no, like hearing go fuck yourself and you suck and like all like the no's. Like literally I got 100 no's a day for 4 years. Like no joke, right? Like no joke. So that made me really good on the phone because I realized, and really, if I could summarize 4 years, what I realized is that no one cares. Like no one, like it doesn't matter. Like it does not matter. And so that gave me confidence that like, if I call someone on the phone and they say, no, Beachbody's stupid, I literally can hit hang up and call the next person and not care about the last person, right?
That's
And I also realized that what you can't do over texting, which is why it increases so much, is you can't read someone over texting. It's too hard, right? But if I'm talking to Deborah on a phone call, I can get to know Deborah very, very well, right? And so I can tell how you speak. I can use fluctuations in my voice and just what you do naturally. There's no secret. It's just that and I can see what parts you get excited about and where you cut me off, and I can let you talk, and then I can go back and forth, and then yeah, we have similar, yeah, that for sure, that happened to me, like all that. All of that goes away over texting. You can't do that on a text, let alone on a group post in a free group, right? You can't. So that's why free group post is like really small percentage of close. Texting a little bit better, phone call way better, because now like you get, like I closed Jamie on the phone, right? Like I sent him an email right away 5 minutes after, but you could show you his email. It's like, let's have a phone call. It wasn't like, sure, man, let's keep emailing back and forth. Imagine if I did that. Like I wouldn't have had Jamie, and Jamie probably earns me, I'll be honest, probably $300,000 a year out of my million. So because I wouldn't get on the phone, like that's insane, right? So I say like phone is
Yeah.
And I know you, Deborah, you're an amazing speaker. You're amazing on the phone. You got a great personality. I would tell you you'd be great on the phone, right? So
Okay, I'm going on the phone. You know why? Because Kim says the same thing, and I keep hearing it, and it's a sign, and I really believe it. It's just one of those things I need to do. I think, all right, I'm going on the phone. You heard it here.
Eat
I
that
would-
frog.
Yeah, I would say especially for coaches that have less potential prospects, if you're someone that struggles to get, like, I'm not saying you do, but if you're someone listening that struggles to get 20 people to talk to a month, don't screw it up with text messaging. Like if you only got 20 a month to talk to, get on the phone, you'll close 30%, right? You keep it on text, you might close 1 or 2.
I have a question.
Sure. Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Thank you so much for coming on our call. You have such great energy. Every time I listen to you, I feel so extra motivated.
Well, that's awesome. No worries.
Yes, it's a treat for us to have you on our call.
Oh,
My
thanks.
question to you is, I remember on one of your Ignite calls, you talked about having a sense of urgency. And my biggest I actually love talking on the phone. I have a lot of prospects. I love connecting with people. My biggest downfall is time management. And I know it's probably an excuse, but do you have any tips? I plan out my day. I kind of visualize it, my goals, but do you have any extra tips of how to, I don't know, be extra efficient with time, I guess?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, it's a good question. Totally good question. What I would say is, like, again, the reason I made that spreadsheet with the times in it is just time box. Like, that's the biggest thing I can tell you is just time box, and don't allow yourself to do more. Like, literally don't allow yourself to do more. If you have to, I've had coaches set timers. Like, literally, like I do this with my kids. Like, literally my kids, I'm like, they use the Google thing now. They say, hey, Google, set a timer for whatever, right? Because that's the best way. So that's a tip I would give you, is set a timer on your phone. Like, if it's going to be 15 minutes to do follow-ups, like, set a timer, right? So easy. Hey, okay, Siri, set a timer for 15 minutes. Start now. Like, that's it, right? Like, that's all you got to do. And then Siri. Okay.
15 minutes and counting.
Right? So now you go, you put that there, and then you just follow up for 15 minutes. Like, sense of urgency for yourself, and then do that. And then don't allow yourself to continue, right? So, because sometimes people enjoy a certain thing and they do 4 hours of stories and TikToking and stuff. And, you know, like, it's not like, you're just wasting time, right? You're just wasting time. So just I would say time box and set timers.
Okay, thank you. I'll try the setting timers. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
So what you're saying is an hour messaging people is probably more valuable than an hour making TikToks. Is that what you're saying? I'm trying to read through your.
Hey man, I know it's fun and all that, but like, you know, like it's not, you know, let's be honest, TikTok's fun. It's not really, I mean, as of right now, it's not really, I don't know anybody. Like, I had Emily Rabidas, I've talked to her about it. She's had like viral million whatever view videos. Again, I'll tell you that, like, honestly, like I showed you, I had 1.7 or 1,700 people on an $800 Pinterest spend, you know, that took me like no time. Like, and I got, I think 250 applications to join my 10 rounds group. Like, what's your time worth? Like, you want to spend 4 hours a day doing TikTok? Go for it. But like, I got to tell you, there's way better ways to spend your time. Again, if you want to do it for fun, do it. I'm not saying don't have fun, you know, but look at it like TikTok versus watching Netflix and chilling. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Good?
I think we're good.
Awesome.
Choo, choo, choo.
Let's do it.
It is fun. Thanks, Miguel. Totally appreciate it. I know we went over, so thanks, guys. If you do have any other questions, Miguel is an open book, or you can filter them through me. If you guys want to do something on how to like for me, it's maximizing your time. If I'm doing a cooking video I do it on Facebook. I record it before I put it up there. I use the same thing. I put it up on IGTV. I take the same video, put it up onto YouTube. I take that YouTube video that I've already created, put it into my blog post about that recipe, create a simple graphic, put it on Pinterest that links back to that blog. You're doing the content anyway. So why not take that one piece of content you've done and put it on 5 sources of media? But I'd love to go over that with you guys for those of you who are interested. Maybe we can do that as a higher level call one day for people who are interested, because it's just time management.
Love it. That's a great tip.
Cool. Thanks, Miguel. Really appreciate it.
No worries. Hey, Angel, what's up?
Oh,
She didn't hear me.
Miguel's saying hi, Angel.
What's up?
It looked like she was running away.
Oh no, she's kicking me out of the basement so she can work out.
Like, you know what? Tell that Miguel guy to stop talking. I know him. He's gonna talk forever. Just get him off the call.
The most verbal introvert you've ever met in your life.
Right? Yeah, it's because I didn't talk for like half my life.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys. Bye.
Does anybody want to stay on and work out?
Yes.
Yeah, Angel
Okay.
does.
They're gonna be a workout part of Super Saturday. I wasn't sure.
I'm gonna guess
No.
I don't know.
Lindsay
Who knows?
Notway is doing her workout at 1 o'clock, shake break at 1:45, and then the Super Saturday goes from 2 to 3:30.
Okay.
Has
So-
anybody been promoting it? Now I feel like I've majorly dropped the ball on that.
I feel like you guys were all drinking last night while I was telling you it was tomorrow.
I put it in my challenge group.
I
'Cause
forgot about it.
I have had a few people ask about coaching now that income's low, so I plopped it in there.
Not even on my radar, but challenge group is great. Putting it in a free group.
Free
I'll do
group.
that, and then I'll do a story about it.
Do it now.
Yeah.
Couple hours. Hey, if you want to log in.
I'm doing a post right now. I'm trying to figure out how to like weave it in at the end.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Okay.
You could email if you have a list too, you could send an email to your list.
Oh, perfect.
I need a workout. Who's
How
gonna
long
work
can I
out?
ignore my kids is what the real question
Hi,
is.
guys.
See ya.
Oh, did you work out yet?
I'm gonna drink more Energize.
Yeah, I
And
need
then,
to get my Energize on, and then
yeah, I'm gonna do some lift and hit.
honestly, Miguel, like it's